Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel just released a bunch of new Avengers Doomsday trailer footage at D23, and there's a new scene of Professor X and the X-Men watching as an incursion is happening, and another version of Earth turns red in the sky and explodes, with Professor X saddened to see it happens, and now we've actually learned what's really going on in that scene, and it takes place at the beginning of the movie, and it sounds like it involves Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Wolverine, Deadpool, and the rest of the X-Men based on some new scenes that also just fell off the back of a truck on the internet and were being talked about at D23 by Walker Scobell, of all people, Percy Jackson, who used to be best friends with Ryan Reynolds. They filmed a movie together, and then he came back during Deadpool and Wolverine. He was almost going to be a version of Kidpool too, until he grew up too fast. As we've seen in all the Avengers Doomsday marketing so far, there's been a significant lack of Spider-Man, any version of Spider-Man, and I think this is the chief reason why, particularly Tom Holland's not appearing in a lot of the marketing because of what happened during Brand New Day in the post-credit scene. We'll address that in a second, but also I think because they want the big Spider-Man in Avengers Doomsday to be Tobey Maguire's version. Thank you very much, Marvel, for sending me all the gear right as we're about to hit pizza time. One of the funny things is that all the leaked images recently also back up what Walker Scobell is talking about in this video that he filmed at D23. Like, it was actually filmed at a D23 panel when he was there for Percy Jackson stuff, talking about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, the X-Men, and Avengers Doomsday of all things.
Can I talk about the leak? There was a big Doomsday leak. The leak is that the X-Men, like the Fox X-Men, are going to have to fight Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, because he's the only hero of his universe. So he's going to have to fight all of them for his universe to continue existing. And that is the coolest thing I've ever heard. And I keep seeing all these like awesome videos about it. It would really be cool. I don't want Tobey to, I don't know. I don't want him to die. So not Tobey Maguire, but he's Spider-Man. I don't want Tobey Maguire to die either. He better win.
It is hilarious that he's going on about a scene that is definitely in the movie. Like, he heard about that probably from somebody random online, but because he knows Ryan Reynolds and like so close with them, it just makes you wonder if he actually did hear some real stuff behind the scenes because he is connected in that way. Because Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are in the movie, they literally filmed a special promo for the Marvel D23 panel for Avengers Doomsday, making a joke about Ryan Reynolds forcing Hugh Jackman to ask Kevin Feige so that they could be in the movie. Like, please, if you need anybody, we're available to film scenes. The reason why they did that special promo is because they are going to be in Avengers Doomsday, and this footage was meant to show you, yes, they are in it, but in a tongue-in-cheek kind of Ryan Reynolds promo type of way.
Or maybe the next one is called Deadpool and Spider-Man and literally everyone except Wolverine.
Who are you?
Ryan Reynolds is famous for doing promos like this for the Deadpool movies ever since the first Deadpool film. Like a trailer that's not actually a trailer and doesn't really tell you anything about the movie, but also kind of tells you what's going on at the same time. Marvel also did promos like this for Captain America Civil War, for Avengers Infinity War, for Avengers Endgame. Anytime they want to release a trailer for something, but they don't want to tell you what's happening in the movie to avoid giving away spoilers, they do stuff like this. So it sounds like they're using this scene of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Wolverine, Deadpool, the X-Men at the beginning of Avengers Doomsday to give casual fans a tutorial on how incursions work from Jonathan Hickman's Time Runs Out, who haven't read that comic book run, when like two or more worlds collide, destroying one or both of them. They referenced this during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness with John Krasinski's Reed Richards. So like over the past several Marvel movies, they've kind of set this up, but Marvel's also banking that a lot of people did not watch those movies and they're just coming into Avengers Doomsday after having just seen Avengers Endgame, like they skipped out on all the Marvel Phase 4 and Marvel Phase 5 movies. So make all the jokes you want to about that. But this opening scene of the movie is also meant to show you how smart the X-Men are and how they're already figured out how to save their version of Earth from being destroyed by multiple incursions. So this isn't meant to be the first time that they face an incursion. There's also the implication that Doctor Doom has secretly been influencing these events and gave the X-Men the idea how to save their world. More on that in a second, because I do think that Doctor Doom is pulling a lot of strings behind the scenes, gaslighting a lot of the different characters to execute his will. All these new scenes, even though they're potato-quality versions, are seemingly real. Tobey Maguire fighting Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in his suit from Deadpool and Wolverine, and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool also there too. But the reason why Tobey Maguire would be in a full motion capture suit instead of like his traditional cloth suit that he wore during Spider-Man No Way Home and his Spider-Man movies is probably because he's wearing a Spider-Man suit that's a bigger deep cut for the comics and more hardcore. Like, there have been rumors he's wearing an Iron Spider suit that's more comic book accurate than Tom Holland's Iron Spider suit, but we'll see. But that's why they would wear motion capture suits, because whatever suit they're wearing requires a lot of visual effects that their cloth suits did not require.
Someone cooked here.
Tom Holland also talked at length during Spider-Man Brand New Day about how he actually physically tried on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit and Andrew Garfield's, and they felt so much better than his Spider-Man suit that they used those cloth suits to inspire the making of his new Brand New Day Spider-Man Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man suit. Destin Daniel Cretton, who shot that movie, made a really big deal about filming as much of it as practical as possible, like literally him walking around in an actual physical suit most of the time. But in Avengers Doomsday, because it's so hardcore, this is the Russos. The Russos also did the Iron Spider suit for Tom Holland. The rumor is they're doing something similar for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but his version is just meant to be much more comic book accurate. There's been a lot of fan art, a lot of like CG fan art that people have made of it. These images are not real though. This is just stuff that fans have come up with. This stuff though, with him in the motion capture suit, I do believe is real though. The Iron Spider suit Tom Holland wore during Avengers Infinity War Endgame and a little during Spider-Man Far From Home and No Way Home was changed dramatically to make it look more like his MCU Stark Tech suit because Tony Stark also made that Iron Spider suit, but he also made it in the comics too, technically. And this Avengers Doomsday scene where we see Professor X looking up at the sky at this other planet being destroyed is meant to be the very opening scene of the movie, and the movie opens with us watching an incursion go down, this incursion that Professor X is watching between the X-Men's world and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's world. And we'll see Tobey Maguire versus the X-Men. This is why I say it's funny that Walker Scobell went on and on about that exact thing during his D23 panel this last weekend. Like, wow, did not expect you to be that detailed about what was going on. Would not be surprised if Ryan Reynolds and Marvel people, Marvel snipers, gave him a phone call after this too, like, hey man, maybe don't talk about it quite this much. He's not actually in the movie though. Walker Scobell is not supposed to be in Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars or anything like that. But because Tobey Maguire is meant to be the only big superhero on his Earth in the movie, he gets help from his Sinister Six, who are at some point have banded together with him to stop their world from being destroyed. He and Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, didn't exactly leave Spider-Man No Way Home on good terms. He had just tried to kill him. So the implication is that over the last couple of years, they learned about the incursions, and because they're all science bros on that world, all the Sinister Six characters, they had to eventually put their differences aside to work together to stop their world from being destroyed by other incursions. So war makes strange bedfellows kind of thing.
I guess I'll see you.
So there's just a lot of untold story there when the movie picks up, but Avengers Doomsday picks up with that scene, and it's the X-Men who act first, and they reveal that they have figured out how the incursions work and how to stop them from destroying both planets, particularly their planet, when they collide, or about to collide. So this is the Russos adapting Jonathan Hickman's Time Runs Out. If you read that story, you have a pretty good idea what's going on here, because there's this big moral battle that goes on with the Illuminati that it sounds like is happening with the X-Men's characters too. Yes, we can destroy other Earths to prevent our Earth from being destroyed, but should we destroy other versions of Earth? Supposedly the idea is the lore that they're adding from the comics to the movies is that when two or more planets collide, it's when their cores come close enough into proximity that triggers the destruction of both planets. And at some point in the recent past before this opening scene happens in Doomsday, the X-Men have learned that they can prevent this from happening by detonating a massive bomb on another world that is about to collide with theirs to detonate their planet's core. So the opening scene of the movie, this big fight with Tobey Maguire versus the X-Men, is basically Tobey Maguire trying to stop the X-Men from placing a massive bomb on his world to blow it up before the incursion destroys both worlds. Logically, I think it'd be Beast who would come up with this kind of solution because it's so technical, but it's really Doctor Doom who might put the idea in their heads that they need to destroy another world that comes along to save theirs. Because that just sounds like a very Doctor Doom thing to do, and it sounds like he's doing that in the movie too. During the previous Doomsday trailers, he actually has that line of dialogue where he says, "We face an unthinkable decision." I think that's the unthinkable decision, is destroying another version of Earth to save their own Earth. There was a version of this that happened in Jonathan Hickman's Time Runs Out with the Illuminati deciding that it's necessary to destroy other worlds before they collide with theirs, but Captain America, some of them aren't totally on board with it on a moral level. But this is after Captain America does use an Infinity Gauntlet to stop an incursion by destroying another world with it. But I don't think the characters will use the Infinity Gauntlet or the Infinity Stones in the movie, but I do think that they will reference them. Like, there'll be some moment in the movie where the MCU characters are like, hey, can't we just get the Infinity Stones to save us from these other versions of Earth? But they'll have some reason to not use them, like some character will tell them, no, we're not going to do that. We just used them for the basis of a giant plot in a previous Avengers movie. We're not going to do the exact same plot again. Cue all the Deadpool fourth wall breaks where he talks about audiences getting fatigued by them repeating movie plots. During all the new scenes, we only see Tobey Maguire fighting Hugh Jackman's Wolverine with Deadpool in the background. The reason why their suits look like this is because it's behind the scenes and a lot of it gets tuned up with special effects later. The report is that during this opening scene, the rest of the X-Men are busy trying to plant the bomb on this world, then return to their world, but Tobey Maguire stops Wolverine from making it back using his webs, and they're trapped on Tobey's world as it explodes. So when Professor X in the trailer is looking up at the sky at Tobey's world being blown up like sad, oh, I can't believe that this happened, this is so tragic, you think that Wolverine has also died on that world, and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man has also died. So the Russos are pulling one of their old tricks, making you think that they killed two of the biggest comic book characters, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Wolverine, in the opening scene of the movie, and it's meant to be a huge WTF parallel for them killing Loki at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War. Huge character twist, WTF moment.
You were sticking it to the system, gonna beat the man, and then whoop.
We see what you're doing there, Russos, trying to surprise everybody. But I do believe Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine will be back in Avengers Secret Wars, but it's not clear how. There's like a number of reasons you could explain this. My early assumption is that they'll just reveal that they survived the destruction of his world somehow, and then were pulled to Battle World after Doctor Doom creates it at the end of Avengers Doomsday and warps reality. Basically another version of what we saw in the Spider-Man Brand New Day post-credit scene in the Spidey tracker, with the stars around Earth shifting, streaking lights that look like the Bifrost, Doctor Doom becoming God Emperor Doom like Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars, using his extra power to collapse reality down to just Battleworld, like one world for the entire multiverse made up of remnants and survivors from Doomsday and all the other worlds in the multiverse. And they use that for way more cameos, multiverse characters from the classic Marvel movies pre-MCU days, also some newer MCU characters like Tom Holland's Spider-Man comes back in a bigger way, maybe Sadie Sink's Jean Grey also shows up. We'll see about those newest X-Men characters they announced at D23 for the 2028 movie. For the most part, I think that Avengers Secret Wars is meant to be an endgame for a lot of the classic pre-MCU Marvel characters that didn't get their own version of Endgame before the MCU came along and everybody got recast and they started moving and Fox got bought by Disney. But because it is Cameo Fest in Secret Wars, anything is possible, so just keep your mind open, keep your theories lightly, hold on to it loosely, anything could change. Speaking of which, as of me posting this video, they just started filming Avengers Secret Wars. It's still coming out December 2028. Most of their focus the rest of the year is going to be on promoting Avengers Doomsday, but don't be surprised because they are filming Secret Wars if we start to hear more about what's actually happening during Secret Wars, in which other new actors that we didn't see coming back in Doomsday are coming back in Secret Wars. I think that's one of the reasons why you're not seeing every single classic Marvel actor come back in Doomsday, because they're saving some of them for Secret Wars. The other really big reason why the Russos want to have this Tobey Maguire Wolverine scene early in the movie is also to pay off a long-running, super deep-cut, deleted scene from the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. Back in the day when Hugh Jackman's first X-Men movie came out in 2000, it was so popular that when Sony was about to make Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movie in 2002, they had worked out a deal with Fox to cameo Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in his black Wolverine suit in that first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, but on the day, it didn't work out because the suit didn't work, so they didn't do the cameo because they didn't want to do it if he wasn't wearing the Wolverine suit. Cut to many years later, and it never wound up working out. The lawyers just could not come to a deal later on when both franchises blew up even bigger. So now in present day, the Russos are finally paying off that idea with the two of them being on screen together. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and let me know if you spotted any Easter eggs or references that I didn't talk about during the video, because it is very hard to see out of this when you're trying to break down videos. There were a ton of other trailers that got released at D23 that I'm still working on videos for, so I'll try to do those as quickly as possible, like Star Wars Starfighter. There were a couple other trailers that leaked out, like X-Men 97 Season 3, so I'll try to do videos for everything. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Everybody click here for my other brand new Avengers Doomsday trailer video, and click here for my brand new X-Men 2028 teaser video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.